Across the world, family power and social living are key to primate success. They share knowledge, forge alliances, and protect each other. Discover how family really matters to the primates.
All new, Wednesday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
For 33 years, across more than 1,500 episodes, Firing Line provided a platform for a substantive and balanced exchange of opinion. Today, we live in a time when meaningful discourse is needed more than ever.
Welcome to Firing Line, Secretary Condoleezza Rice.
Thank you. Our mission is to renew the Firing Line tradition for a new generation and engage in a debate about the America we want to create in the 21st century. Please join me.
Friday night at 7:30 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Friendship Village Tempe, a retirement community for over 30 years, offers independent living with residency options, lifelong learning classes, as well as continuing care. Information at friendshipvillageaz.com.
Marijuana charges dismissed. What Maricopa County is doing following the passage of Prop 207.
The disruption that's occurring and continues to occur within the White House only serves to make the rest of us who did vote for Vice President Biden know that we did the right thing.
Plus, Cindy McCain speaks out why she says her late husband would be pleased with the election results.
And later this half hour on Break It Down, how people with ethnic names are often invalidated.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Megan Marples.
And I'm Spencer Hardenberg. Thank you for joining us. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are beginning their first steps to transition into the White House, even though President Donald Trump is refusing to concede. That's right, Biden was projected to win the presidency on Saturday despite Trump continuing to contest the outcome with the claims of corruption and voter fraud. A new batch of votes from Maricopa County released last night puts Biden's lead below 15,000 votes in his bid to win Arizona's 11 Electoral College votes.
Following the passage of Prop 207, which allows anyone 21 or older to legally have up to 1 ounce of cannabis, Maricopa County announced they'll dismiss all pending charges of possession of pot and paraphernalia. Abigail Verowick explains how the process will work. Abby?
Deputy county attorneys will start filing motions today to dismiss all pending and unfiled charges. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office plans to individually review each case for dismissal. Cases that include other felony charges will not be entirely dismissed. However, the charges covered by Prop 207 will be dropped. With almost 60% of voters supporting the proposition on the ballot, office spokeswoman Jennifer Lewer says they decided to make the change now.
We feel that it was important to begin the process now because the will of the voters has spoken and they believe that these particular charges are no longer a crime. So this office will not be moving forward with those cases. It takes a lot of resources to prosecute a criminal case. And with the decision made last week in Arizona by voters, we believe that those resources should be used in other ways.
The proposition will also allow people to expunge a conviction that they have on their record. This process will begin as soon as summer 2021. The legalization of marijuana in Arizona has been predicted to generate upwards of $300 million annually for the state. In the newsroom, Abigail Verowick, Cronkite News.
This is the first time in 24 years that Arizona has flipped blue in the election, and the Latino vote played a pivotal role in deciding who won the Grand Canyon state. In this election, the Latino vote was key for both parties. Nonpartisan organizations like Mi Familia Vota promoted Latino participation in this election. Christian Avila says that this year they had to take a different route in the way they work, launching the campaign Basta Trump, or in English, Enough Trump.
And the reason why Ambassador Trump, the campaign Ambassador Trump came about, it wasn't because he's Republican, but rather because of his attacks on the Latino community.
According to the Pew Research Center in Arizona, 24% of eligible voters are from members of the Latino community. Republican Jose Borrajero says those who voted for Joe Biden did so because they didn't know the work of the Republican Party.
If they were aware of it, they would be knocking on our doors to vote for Trump.
The bipartisan Arizona Latino Legislative Caucus, with 28 members from both the State House and Senate, released a statement on the election. This election saw record Latino voter turnout in Arizona in unprecedented engagement from volunteers in Latino communities, especially young people, many voting and getting involved civically for the first time. Their voices have made an indelible impact on our state. Borrajero says his party has failed to reach Latinos.
The Republican Party has not done a very good job of indicating, proclaiming what they've done in favor of the Latino community.
For Cesar Chavez, re-elected Democrat, the results of this election are unprecedented.
I've never seen the amount of Latinos come out and vote for a candidate, and not only just one candidate, but for candidates that are actually going to make a difference in our community.
Cindy McCain is speaking out about election 2020, saying her late husband, Senator John McCain, would be pleased with the outcome.
I think my husband would be very pleased. As you know, we were good friends and with the Bidens, and I just know he's looking down and going, "You did the right thing." And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm very honored to be part of the transition.
It was just 12 years ago that Senator McCain conceded the presidential race to then President-elect Barack Obama and his running mate, Joe Biden. Have a listen.
I had the honor of calling Senator Barack Obama to congratulate him, please, to congratulate him on being elected the next president of the country that we both love. Senator Obama has achieved a great thing for himself and for his country. I urge all Americans who supported me to join me in not just congratulating him, but offering our next president our goodwill and earnest effort to find ways to come together.
Cindy McCain says although Biden and her husband often disagreed, they worked together to get things done for the good of the country.
Now, with many ballots still left to be counted and races not officially called in Arizona, it is important to note that this newscast was taped earlier in the afternoon. Now, at the time of our taping, the results we are reporting here were up to date. However, in a still fluid election season, results may change. And to track the latest on election 2020 results, just go to our website, cronkitenews.azpbs.org. There's another fight in Washington, but this one's been going on for some time now, the fight over the Affordable Care Act. For the 7th time, the Supreme Court heard a case today challenging Obamacare, but advocates fear a newly conservative court could finally overturn the law this time. Cronkite News reporter Tina Giuliano was there.
The justices weren't actually in the building to hear today's arguments for the Affordable Care Act. They held the case virtually. But that didn't stop supporters from showing up to make sure that their voices were heard.
In the midst of the upbeat music, worry was in the air.
I'm concerned, but, I hope that there's a way that they can work together to not completely gut the ACA.
But that's what the people here fear, that the latest challenge to the ACA will end up with the law being completely overturned.
Health insurance isn't a privilege. It's a basic human right.
Opponents of the law did not turn out today, while everyone here seemed to have a story about how the ACA has protected them.
It's just overwhelming what that did for the world, for our culture and our society.
The ACA, also known as Obamacare, led to a sharp increase in the number of Americans with health insurance, much of it subsidized.
It speaks for itself, Affordable Care Act. A lot of people can't afford health care, so you have some people that, they go to the doctor, they get billed, and then they're in debt for the rest of their lives, but you don't want to die, so it's like I'd rather take being in debt than dying.
For Robeson, the health care law took away a lot of worry.
And Obamacare has been just such a wonderful relief.
But one part of the law requiring people to have insurance or pay a penalty has been ruled unconstitutional by lower courts, and the people here worry that there is no plan B.
And there's nothing in place to offer as an option.
45 hasn't presented one page of a substitute or a substitute for the ACA or any ideas to make it better in 4 years.
President-elect Joe Biden said today that he would work as hard for health care for all Americans as he would for his own family. Advocates here say they're still worried.
There's a lot that we've had to be worried about, and it's not done yet. And even when our president-elect is in place, he needs a lot of help.
The ruling isn't expected until months after this hearing. In Washington, Tina Giuliano, Cronkite News.
Biden's comments today came just hours after the Supreme Court hearing ended, and he claimed the majority of Americans want to keep the protections of the ACA. But Biden conceded that preserving Obamacare will not be an easy fight if Republicans can maintain a thin majority in the Senate.
COVID-19 cases continue to climb across the country. Here in Arizona, there has been more than 250,000 infections and more than 6,000 virus-related deaths. But health officials are optimistic about a vaccine. So the question is, will people take it when it becomes available? According to a recent study in the medical journal Pediatrics, 20% of parents in the U.S. are vaccine hesitant. That means 1 in 5 children has a parent who is concerned about the long-term side effects of vaccines. Vaccine-hesitant parents were also more likely to have children under the age of 6 or be the parents of 3 or more children.
COVID-19 has affected several events this year, but that won't stop the group honoring America's veterans from having their annual Phoenix Veterans Day Parade. It'll just look slightly different this year, as tomorrow's event will be virtual. Instead of having marching bands and crowds cheering, HAV is holding a live-stream TV show. The theme this year is USA, a Beacon of Liberty, which they believe is true to its name due to this year's pandemic. Viewers will get to find out the winners of the HAV's annual essay contest for Phoenix high schoolers and hear patriotic stories of 7 veterans who served in the United States military from World War II to now. As for Veterans Day Parade in Tucson, it has been canceled.
Is for whatever reason, it helps them heal. You know, when you're serving in the military, it's not always easy. You're away from family, you're away from friends, you're away from our country, and you're doing things that you may not, always have the thought that you would do. And to come back and to be welcomed home and to get a thank you just means the world to them.
The Phoenix Veterans Day event will be broadcast on Channel 3 as well as Channel 11 city stations, and there will be a live stream on HAV's Facebook and YouTube page. Make sure to tune in at 11 a.m. tomorrow to honor all who have fought and are still fighting for our nation.
Well, today is a special day for one branch of the military. The U.S. Marine Corps is celebrating its 245th birthday. The Marines usually hold an annual military ball to celebrate, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been canceled. So to make up for it, the Marine Corps held a special birthday cake cutting ceremony to honor all past and present Devil Dogs.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, Marvel has created a new comic book featuring Native American characters. What Indigenous Voices hopes to do by featuring the work of Native artists next.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. And when you support your local station, you can get PBS Passport, giving you access to more episodes, more specials, more of what you love. Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and local content from your PBS station.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. And now, thanks to PBS Passport, you can travel with me and watch all 10 seasons of Rick Steves Europe and all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today and get your passport.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here at Cronkite News, we have producers who craft shows that make an impact on our community. Our broadcasts allow students to be involved in all levels of production, from producing to directing. We are guided by highly respected professionals who mentor the journalists of tomorrow. From technical directing to teleprompting and beyond, our production crew works tirelessly to produce meaningful and award-winning shows. We are Cronkite News on Arizona PBS.
Marvel Comics plans to release a new series named Indigenous Voices during this month, which is Native Heritage Month. As Mackenzie Allen Charmley reports, it will feature Native characters and artists in hopes of improving authentic representation.
Thor is from Asgard. Captain Marvel is from an intergalactic empire. But if you want to find a comic book character from a Native American community, you'll have to turn a lot of pages. Marvel Comics plans to change that with the release of Indigenous Voices. Navajo comic book artist Keith Jim grew up on comics and is looking forward to seeing the characters the artists create. He's excited for the artists to bring a level of authenticity to characters.
I can't wait for it to come out and just to see how it should have been from the start. How, Native Americans should have been represented from the start.
Cap Comics, located in Flagstaff, is the closest Arizona comic book store to the Navajo Nation. Cap Comics owner Corey Bushnell hopes the series will help educate customers on Indigenous cultures.
It's something that we're excited to have in the store and excited to help encourage people to know about. And other people, like, this is a special issue from, Marvel with Indigenous people, and people who don't normally would know. It's also encouraging people to learn more.
Even though Indigenous characters in Marvel Comics already exist, they're often depicted with stereotypes, wearing clothing such as feathers or loincloths, and are primarily featured as side characters.
Anthony Thibodeau specialized in Indian arts and culture at the Museum of Northern Arizona. He says that cliches in past comics portray Native people in a negative light.
Any character that was a non-white character, usually they were represented in a really stereotypical way, either through their clothing, a lot of times through the way they talk and their accent. Native cultures are vibrant, living cultures that are still evolving. But I think it is a good step, especially having these writers and artists interpret these characters to, bring a better sense of representation into mainstream pop culture than there has been.
Jim emphasized the need for Native cultures, art, and stories to continue to be heard.
Sometimes I feel like we're forgotten, we are still here, so it's important to, stand up.
Mackenzie Allen Charmley, Cronkite News.
The series will be available to the public in comic book stores throughout the nation later this November.
That is it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Coming up next on Break It Down, how the names we are given by our parents can be both a blessing and a burden.
Kendra. Thanks for joining me today to break it down and talk about ethnic names. Kamala Harris and her name, which is Sanskrit for lotus. And there have been controversies around people not being able to pronounce her name or mocking her name. You and I both have ethnic names that have great meaning to our families, but also have complicated our lives growing up. You want to tell me a little bit about your name and where it came from?
Yeah, so, names are very important in Japanese society. So my name, Kenro, means healthy man. So the healthy part comes actually from my great-grandfather. So that's another thing where a lot of times you use the name of your ancestors. And then my last name, Kasumi, is actually really from the middle of the 19th century, because prior to that point, Japan was a feudal society, and last names weren't as common, although people with last names included my ancestors, like samurai. You can think of the swordsman, and it was a much more violent name. So the name was meant literally 9 necks, as if you're slicing off 9 necks. And so with the changes, it was changed to a long life or living a long time in a place, and so that's much more peaceful name. So it's it's interesting history. There's a story behind every name.
Right. There's just my name. I'm Korean, and my mother gave me a Korean name, so I'm glad to have a name that means beauty and love. And but it's not always easy. The spelling to have 4 letters, 2 capital letters, a hyphen, 3 vowels, and that meant some parts of my family or friends pressured me to change that name, to Americanize it, and that's another trend. And
my father was very interested in coming to the United States, and when I was born, they chose a name that actually was a little shorter, so it could have been like Ken Ichiro, which means the first son. They made it Kenro to make it easier for people to say, and then I came when I was 2 years old, and so obviously it has made it easier. I think a lot of times people shorten their names if it's very long.
I feel like I'm seeing a resurgence of people sort of owning their ethnic names, taking that back.
Definitely.
What tips do you have for people? I like to always ask, what would you like to be called?
And then I teach a freshman course every year, and it's small enough, it's about 20 students, that we ask the students to fill out name cards. And then that way they can decide, what is the name that they're most comfortable with, and they can also tell us, how they want to pronounce it. And, that's great. If you have a name that's a little complicated, then, you choose the pronunciation, the name. For transgender students, you can, choose, and let people know what your name is instead of the perhaps the legal name that hasn't yet been changed. So I think it's a great opportunity to give people a chance to both, perhaps sometimes also tell us a little bit more about the history or the story behind their name and their culture.
I think when we started, so many families wanted to assimilate. You were talking about that your family wanted you to fit in, make it a little easier. And I think a lot of people might have just ditched the row, right? You would have just gone with Ken.
Yeah.
I have cousins too who are, use the American name and then have the Korean name in the back pocket for later or similar. What does that mean to you to see more people have names that are reflective of the heritage that from their parents or grandparents?
I think it's wonderful. A lot of times, if I know that their name is spelled with characters that are ideograms, I'll ask, what does your name mean? And it's a helpful moniker to okay, well, that's what that name means. It means forest, or it means, king or gold, or, something like that. I've been to Vietnam, I've been to China. It's very challenging for me to pronounce names. And so I will do my best, and then I'll leave it up to them. Am I massacring this pronunciation?
Personally, when I've seen people mispronouncing seemingly on purpose Kamala or other ethnic names, I am reminded of those kinds of microaggressions when I was a kid, or even in the workplace, like Mia, Maya, Muya, whatever. So I think people don't always name their children something that has that reflects that pride because it's other.
Yes.
Do you see that as well? That sort of worry that your kids will stand out in a bad way, or the othering of our names.
Yeah,
why'd you hold on to yours? I mean, I know why I held on to mine.
I guess, I am who I am. This is my name. This is what I look like. This is, who I am. There is a sort of like broadening out of people's expectations. Like if your name is, say, John Smith, why is there necessarily an appearance that's tied, integrally to that name? Or conversely, if you have a name that is maybe reflecting a Chinese heritage or Indian heritage, it doesn't mean that you automatically can, assume what people are like. But the othering, it's very, for a country that's had just constantly enriched by immigration, whether it be from, early Northern Europe, Southern Europe, and then later, across from Asia, I think we're getting used to all kinds of different names. And so it's funny that, it's essentially the othering is just one step, behind kind of where the last wave of immigration is. So, I think that these things are changing, but it is unfortunate. And it's also, I can understand, why, kids can be mean in the playground. And so, what is the best way to both, take pride in who you are and your heritage, but also at the same time, avoid, like a situation you don't want the poor kid to be teased excessively.
Yeah. And why do you think it's important in society to accept ethnic names?
We're here in Arizona very fortunate in that, we have, Native American tribal, groups that have been here for a very long time, and, and their names carry a lot of meaning. And I've had the fortune of having in my lab and, and training students from, the Navajo Nation and, the Zuni, and so I think that, those names have been around for quite a long time. I mean, the names that are English or Irish or German are more recent, immigrants than that. I think it reflects the fact that we are living in a very diverse world. We have a microcosm of this diverse world through waves of immigration to the United States. And that, that story is still underway, right? I mean, whereas like perhaps a century ago, the immigration would be coming from Italy and Greece and Southern Europe. Now, it's coming from, Vietnam and Southeast Asia and East Asia. So, I think it's, and who knows in the future what it will be like. So I think that's a great sort of evolving story of our country.
I really appreciate you taking the time to break it down a little bit about names. There's a lot to unpack there. And it's just fun chatting with you. So thanks for joining me, Kenro. And
it's my pleasure.
I hope you continue to be a healthy man.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This hour of local news is made possible by contributions from the Friends of PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you. If you have comments about Arizona PBS News, please contact us at one of the addresses on your screen. Thank you. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
The Persian Room. Travel to another world, to a land of exotic aromas and period decor for a fine dining experience. The Persian Room in North Scottsdale on Scottsdale Road, one light north of Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. Gourmet exotic cuisine at its best.
AJ's Fine Foods, offering gourmet appetizers, fine wines for entertaining, and decadent desserts for all your special occasions. Find 10 Valley locations at ajsfinefoods.com. AJ's, purveyors of fine foods.
In 1930, Germany was a democracy. Just 4 years later, Hitler and the Nazis were in control. Historians uncover how it happened and what could have been done to stop it. Rise of the Nazis.
All new tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS.
The crackdown on Chinese Muslims.
The number of people that can be held is unprecedented.
Frontline goes undercover to trace the missing and exposes a next-generation surveillance state.
The combination of cutting-edge technology and brutal policing methods to control a population.
China Undercover.
Tonight at 9 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
I've known the family for years. I never, ever dreamt it would end like this.
Across the globe, islands are home to some of the most remarkable animals and extraordinary cultures on the planet.
I'm Scott Yu. Come with me to uncover how a country boy became the most influential composer of all time.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station, sign in, and start streaming today.
For 33 years, Firing Line provided a platform for a substantive and balanced exchange of opinion. Today, we live in a time when meaningful discourse is needed more than ever. Welcome to Firing Line. Our mission is to renew the Firing Line tradition in the 21st century.
Friday night at 7:30 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602.
Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers, personalized cancer care through medical oncology, radiation oncology, and radiology services, focusing on emotional, physical, and social support, outsmarting cancer one patient at a time.
The Palazzo, remaining safe and socially distant while open for tours, offering independent or assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing and rehab, including activities, exercise, live music, even a pool and wine cellar. Redefining senior living, the Palazzo.
Good evening, I'm Judy Woodruff on the NewsHour tonight. Election aftermath. Joe Biden calls for the transition of power to begin as the president still refuses to concede defeat. Then, the future of health care. The Supreme Court hears arguments about the Affordable Care Act in a case that could decide the law's fate amid a worsening pandemic. And bridging our social divides. The author of Bowling Alone on how we can all come together.
But if you think we're not all in this together, it's every man for himself.
All that and more on tonight's PBS NewsHour.
Major funding for the PBS NewsHour has been provided by
Architect, Beekeeper, Mentor. A Raymond James financial advisor tailors advice to help you live your life. Life well planned.
For 25 years, Consumer Cellular has been offering no-contract wireless plans designed to help people do more of what they like. Our U.S.-based customer service team can help find a plan that fits you. To learn more, visit consumercellular.tv.
Johnson & Johnson. BNSF Railway.
The John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, fostering informed and engaged communities. More at kf.org.
And with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
President-elect Joe Biden is counseling calm about the transition tonight, even if President Trump never concedes he lost. Mr. Biden already has 290 electoral votes in an Associated Press tally, with 3 states not yet called, and a lead of almost 5 million popular votes, pushing him over the 50% mark. Today, he held his first news conference since Election Day. White House correspondent Yamiche Alcindor begins our coverage.
An embarrassment.
That's the way President-elect Joe Biden described President Trump's refusal to concede the election. And Mr. Biden insisted it will have no effect on the handover of power.
We are already beginning the transition. We're well underway. And the ability for the administration in any way by failure to recognize this our win does not change the dynamic at all in what we're able to do.
For his part, President Trump had no public events again today, but he did take to Twitter. He repeated unfounded claims of widespread fraud, saying, quote, "Watch for massive ballot counting abuse. And just like the early vaccine, remember I told you so." And overnight, his Justice Department provoked new rancor.
Concerned about? No.
Democrats at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing blasted Attorney General William Barr for telling federal prosecutors to investigate any substantial allegations of voter fraud.
They have no evidence whatsoever of election fraud. If they did, they would certainly bring it forward.
Last night, in response to Barr's actions, the head of the Justice Department's Election Crimes Branch resigned in protest. Today, there is still no indication that the General Services Administration will formally acknowledge the Biden victory and free up funding for transition work. At the State Department, Secretary Mike Pompeo was questioned about whether he is ready to engage with the Biden transition team.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. All right, we're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes.
On another front, Democratic committee chairs in the House released a statement today directing the White House and more than 50 other federal agencies to preserve documents related to congressional subpoenas and investigations. Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell dismissed concerns that most GOP lawmakers are refusing to publicly acknowledge Joe Biden as president-elect.
At some point here, we'll find out, finally, who was certified in each of these states, and the Electoral College will determine the winner, and that person will be sworn in on January 20th. No reason for alarm.
On the Senate floor, the Democratic leader, Chuck Schumer, denounced the GOP for refusing to take a stand.
The extent to which the Republican Party is legitimizing the president's assault on our democracy is infuriating and deeply, deeply wrong. The president is not merely bringing forward well-founded legal challenges.
And Democratic Senator Chris Coons from Biden's home state of Delaware said Republicans have been calling him to privately congratulate the president-elect.
My job here, I think, is to continue to urge them privately to do the right thing and to help the president accept reality and to help their caucus stand up publicly.
All the while, time is ticking. Electors from all 50 states and D.C. will meet to vote on December 14th, 2020. The vote count is then finalized on January 6, 2021, leading up to the presidential inauguration on January 20th. But between then and now, the president's false claims are echoing with many of his supporters.
Biden has not won the election. All of the legal ballots have not been counted. There's been multiple cases of voter fraud happening throughout the entire state of Michigan.
There has been no evidence of widespread voting irregularities. Trump supporters are now planning what they call a Million MAGA March in Washington on Saturday.
And Yamiche is at the White House tonight, while our Lisa Desjardins joins us from Wilmington, Delaware. And Lisa, to you first. You were in the room when the president-elect spoke to reporters today. His team is proceeding work on the transition. Tell us what we know about that.
You know, you don't see a lot of this, of course, in public, not only because it's transition, but because of the coronavirus. But I have a lot of reporting, Judy. Today, the president-elect announced his agency transition teams, review teams. This is 540 people.